Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Hi, Victoria.
How are you, Marnie?
I'm good.
Eileen, I see you. Nice to see you guys.
Good to see you too.
Just so everybody knows that we have a lot of people in the room. And we are being recorded, and shortly we will go live.
Hello, morning.
Hey, Ruben.
Hi, Monty. Good evening.
Hi, Marnie, Sonia. How you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. I'm going to mute myself.
Hey, Marnie.
I'm here.
Hello.
Okay, Bill, just a few moments. I'm going to initiate the live stream.
Ready, Marty?
Just 1 second.
Okay. We don't hear you, by the way.
I'm here.
1 second. It's not
We don't
coming
hear
up.
you.
I don't know why not.
Oh, it's me.
Maybe. Just 1 moment.
I got you now, Marty. I'm good.
Okay.
You let me know when we can go, I'll go.
Did man want to say something? His hand's up.
I don't know how to take that out. Oh, there you are.
You want to mute?
Yeah,
Marty will mute you.
that's it.
Marty will mute you. You're still open, but Marty will mute you. Don't worry about it.
I don't have my hand up now.
Usually, if you want to mute, if you look in the left-hand corner of your screen, Manoir,
Yeah.
it looks like a microphone. Hit the microphone, and it blocks you out. In the left-hand corner, lower corner, lower, left, lower. Maybe some people it's in another spot, but it looks like a microphone. There you go, you're muted. You're muted, no problem, Memoir. All right, Marnie, we have a heads up or we're still waiting?
We're preparing the live stream. It's just taking a second.
Okay, so you give me the heads up.
You got it. Oh. Just give me a little problem. Just one moment. Thank you for your patience.
Marnie, I see there are 105 participants. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's wonderful.
It's having a problem taking my streaming key. All right.
Good?
I'm having a problem live streaming. This is what happens when you're using technical devices. However, we are recording it. And since we upgraded the amount of attendees that we can have in the room, people can come in directly here to watch it. And as soon as the meeting's over, I will upload it.
Great, that's
I
great.
apologize.
Okay, so Assemblyman Colton, you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance.
Wait.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you. I'd like to have a moment of silence for Marnie's dad. For those that don't know, he passed away. And so I'd like to have a moment of silence, please. May you rest in peace. And Marnie, we send our condolences to you. And you know we're with you, anything you need.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm going to welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. For those that are watching this and haven't come to community board meetings, there are two parts. There's a public portion where we talk about community things and the community gives us some input. And then the board meeting starts. And so we're not being rude. It's just that only the board members can participate in a board meeting. So don't be upset when you're either trying to chat and Marnie doesn't recognize you or to answer the question. The board meetings for the board. So I do want to start with, because there's a little false information out there. Tonight is not a dedicated shelter meeting. It's not the agenda of the meeting, nor is this matter before us. However, we will be discussing the matter because it does affect the community. And that's our job, to really talk about community issues, but it's not officially before us. There's no action we can take at this point, aside from giving you what the updates are. We had many people that registered for tonight's meeting. when I open the public portion, I'm going to give some comments of what we've gotten from the community and the elected officials already. And then what I'm going to ask people's indulgence with is if you can add anything that we have forgotten, then I would ask you to use the chat button and we'd like to hear from you. If not, we've already received 350 calls. We've already gotten a ton of petitions. Every assembly person, council person, state senator, whoever you can write to, they heard it. Facebook is blown up. There's a whole group that's just set up for this. We hear it. Nobody wants it there. Nobody wants the type of individuals that go there. We heard it loud and clear. So let me tell you, we did have a meeting so that the people from the public would know. We did have a meeting with the Department of Homeless Services and the not-for-profit agency that's going to open this. Now, the not-for-profit agency has a lot of, they have a lot of experience doing this. They're local in our community with offering other services. And they were just responding to an RFP. So they did not pick this site. They were given this site. Now, Marnie, and I really have to say this, did an exceptional job. The city is trying to be a little cute here because everywhere else where they've put these homeless shelters has been in a heavy commercial and really like M1 zones, manufacturing, not in the heart of a residential community. And the city planning has put in the zoning requirements that in that zoning, the R5 zoning that we have there, the overlay, you cannot have a homeless shelter because a homeless shelter is considered a transient hotel under the city code. So automatically we threw that back at the Department of Homeless Services because if they try to put it up legally, they're going to have to come officially before the community board for a variance or a special permit to allow that building to be built. So at that point, we would have it officially. The other part that we talked about extensively is they really picked the wrong population for such a residential spot. You know, look, we all have to take our share of homeless. No one's running away from the issue, okay? But you know, you got to pick the right spots and the right clientele. 150 single men in this community are not acceptable. Every elected official has said that. You know, there's a lot of families. We have, I think Marnie had mentioned, we have over 300 families that are in temporary housing. Help them out. Let them come here. They're already our neighbors. You don't have to farm people in here. So we objected to the clientele they want to put here. We objected to the fact that we are very heavily into group facilities. You look on Cropsey Avenue, there are 4 nursing homes. There are 2 schools within blocks of this proposed facility. There is no infrastructure for these folks to have a good quality of life here, okay? And certainly our quality of life will be disturbed. So I will tell you, your elected officials have jumped on board. They heard you. And so I'll open the public portion of the meeting. So if nobody has anything different, we're all saying that we don't want it at that location. We're not talking about the homeless in general. We don't want the population and we don't want it at that location. And I'm going to ask the other side of this, if there's anybody that wanted to speak for it. It's not a public hearing, but I know people may want to be heard. So if you want to be heard that you think this is the best thing since ice cream, this is your time to do it. But I'm really not going to be rude to people, but I'm going to say, if you're going to repeat what I said or say you just don't want it, we're not going to let you speak because we already know you don't want it. We already know that we are opposed. So we don't need, you know, the numbers we already got. So I'll open it up if somebody wants to talk about this issue, and then I'm going to open it to the public meeting that we normally have. So This is, okay. So morning, anybody?
Lenny Rudick, if you would unmute yourself, you can speak at the public portion.
He doesn't want to
Okay.
speak.
No, I got it. Agnes Wong.
Yeah, Lenny, we all are. Okay.
Agnes, if you would just unmute yourself.
Okay. I think she's having some difficulty.
That's okay.
All right, anything else?
Okay, I see Ms. Cordero wants to speak, but because of her Zoom platform,
Right.
hang on. She does not have allowed to talk, so if she could put it in the chat.
Yes. Write it in the chat, write it in the chat. And yes, the people from the public have to be recognized to get on because we don't have enough of a platform for this. But again, this is not a hearing for the shelter. I just knew it was going to be a topic people were interested in, but it's not tonight's agenda.
Okay. Sharon Pinska.
Hi, happy Thursday evening, everyone.
Right.
So I appreciate the zoning issue. So it sounds like it would be very difficult for this particular shelter to be placed at this particular location. So what's the plan B? If it can go into
DHS to get back.
Okay, let me finish my question.
Go ahead.
Does that mean that a shelter can be placed in a commercial or an M1 location within our community? And if so,
Sharon, let me say this to you. You're going to get it. We are going to, every community board will have to shoulder one. Bay Ridge will be getting one. They're already looking for the site. The mayor has, has said.
So then the answer is yes.
Gets.
So the answer is yes. I'm being short because I know you probably have a lot of questions. So if the answer is yes, which by the way, I am not a NIMBY. I'm just concerned about this particular shelter idea of 150 homeless men in a transient shelter during a pandemic where we've learned not to do that. And where the Coalition for the Homeless is suggesting we not do that. So what are we looking at for an M1 location?
Actually, we don't have any answers to that, and we'll talk about it when we get more.
So what can, now you have experience, so I'm asking you to share with us, what can we reasonably expect?
You can
so
reasonably expect everyone, we know, you'll know.
So, but just like we found this out through, I think Bill Colton shared this through someone, and I found out through Facebook, which I don't really think is a reasonable way for
Sharon,
me.
Sharon, we got a letter. We're not a party to this, and neither are the elected officials. We just got a letter from DHS said, this is where it's going, gang.
So there'll be another letter that says that.
As soon as we got it, you got it.
And once that letter comes, I don't want to be a part of the vile stuff that's being said about homeless people, but I have concerns about this. Yeah, so I want to know how to extract myself to come back in when it's necessary.
Could I ask you?
Bill?
Yes.
Bill, our monthly meetings, all of our monthly meetings are posted with the link to this meeting on our webpage. It's www.brooklyncb11.org, or if you would be kind enough to shoot us an email at bk11@cb.myc.gov, we will add you to our e-list notifications of upcoming meetings.
Okay, so basically, we're going to find out about it when you do. You're going to notify us on the Facebook group, or How will you
Listen, you
notify
got Bill
me?
Colton and you got Traeger on the phone. I'm sure that they're not going to let an iota go by. We will do the same. We don't have any other information, Sharon. That's why I was saying, if you have something to add that we don't know about, that's what I want to do. I'm not being rude to you. It's just
No, I'm being rude to you too. I'm being rude to you too, actually, because you know this got sprung on us. I don't want to learn
sprung on us too,
Facebook.
so,
we
you know,
we understand that Facebook is not the place for us to learn things. We've learned that.
I hear you, but it's the best way we could have got it out quickly. That's all.
So that's what's basically. So what we should expect is within what period of time?
We have no idea.
It's all nebulous. So we all hope that the New York Times continues to run exposés about it.
Talk to the mayor. Anyway, I'm going to move on now because I didn't hear anything new, but I'm happy that you were able to express something. So, Marnie, I think we moved the agenda to, if anybody has to talk about another public issue, off this topic, because we're going to talk about it at the board meeting anyway.
Sarah Anders?
Sure. So is this just sort of the general portion of the public meeting?
Yes.
To give updates? Okay. So understand that there's a lot of community sentiment in the room, and you know, we're here, we're listening. This isn't in the senator's district, but we're always here. So feel free to give us a call at 718-238-6044. So I'm with Senator Gennardis's office, as I mentioned, it's a busy time of year, lots of things happening in the state Senate. The senator is, they're passing legislation to help small businesses, to help make it easier for folks to have access to the vote. He just introduced a new deal for CUNY bill that would make CUNY tuition free again, which is really exciting. And we also just opened up our community pantry, which is outside of our office at 8018 Fifth Avenue. So that's just free food for anyone who needs it and who wants it, swing on by. And we're hosting regular food distributions and doing good work. On a personal note, I just want to let you all know that although I haven't seen you in over a year, my last day with the senator's office will be in a week. I am moving, so we'll have, you know, other fantastic members of our team here, and you know, lots of time to connect with the senator's office. But I just want to say farewell.
Farewell. Have a good life. Enjoy where you're going.
Thank you, Bill.
Okay, and Marnie?
Yep. Hannah Wienerman?
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, everyone. I'm Hannah Wienerman from Congressman Jerry Nadler's office. I just wanted to flag that tax season starts tomorrow, if you can imagine. So just two quick points on that. So, I mean, generally, if you have any questions about anything doing with the IRS, you can feel free to contact our office. I'll leave that information in the chat. The IRS is encouraging folks to file online this year electronically. There's been just delays with the mail filings. So they have a lot of free filing tools that are available to the public, regardless of your income. So that is available on the IRS website, and we'll put it on Jerry Nadler's website as well. Additionally, a lot of folks have contacted our office because they still have not received their stimulus payment. So if you haven't received your payment and you want us to inquire about it, feel free to contact the office. Additionally, you can claim it as a recovery rebate credit on your 2020 tax returns. You can also claim the credit if you don't file taxes normally. All that information is on the IRS website, and it'll be on our website as well. And again, I'll put my information to contact one of our caseworkers in the chat below. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night.
Thank you.
And just one moment. I know. Okay, Nancy Lulu from the Brooklyn DA's office. Nancy, if you could just unmute yourself.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hope everyone is doing well. I would like to extend greetings on behalf of DA Gonzalez to each and every one of you. The District Attorney's Office is very active. Our office remains committed to protecting Brooklyn communities. I just have two announcements. Due to the surge of gun violence we have witnessed in our Brooklyn neighborhoods and citywide, Brooklyn DA Eric Gonzalez, the New York State Attorney General, along with the NYPD, teamed up and hosted another gun buyback event with no questions asked. It was held on January 30th at Batista Healing Center in Brownsville. I would like to report that 48 firearms were turned in to law enforcement in exchange for prepaid cash cards and iPads, and now off the streets. With the gun buyback, we didn't just reduce the inventory of guns that are out there and could fall into the wrong hands. We also provided the community a chance to get involved and send the message that ending gun violence is up to all of us. This program is a small part of our office's multi-pronged approach to reducing the shootings and making Brooklyn safer. Therefore, the event was successful. Just wanted to report on that. In honor of Black History Month, the Brooklyn DA's office will be holding a virtual Black History Month event. Once I have more information, I will send it to the board. Also, I would like to encourage everyone to visit our social media platforms to check on updates and events. And also, finally, I would like to wish everyone that celebrates a Lunar year a very wonderful year of Ox. So happy Lunar year to everyone. And I would like to conclude by reminding everyone with the Action Center's phone number at the DA's office. If anybody has any concerns or anything they would like to address with the DA's office, please call 718-250-2340, and I could be reached at lulun@brooklynda.org. And finally, Marnie, please accept my condolences. Thank you so very much, everyone.
Thank you, Nancy. One moment. Conchetta Bologna, if you would just unmute yourself.
Hi, Marnie. My condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
I live on Bay Parkway. Marnie knows me pretty well, between 86th and Benson. It's gotten like a dump, to say the least. It looks like Hunts Point. I won't even walk on 86th Street anymore. That it's so disgusting. When is something going to really be done to clean up the mess? Besides, people live on top of these fruit stands and they're inhaling all this filth that goes in their lungs. They're probably illegals, but it's not fair. I'm gonna have rats coming up Bay Parkway one day, very soon. No one cleans their sidewalks. No one uses a hose. No one does anything. Why should fruit and vegetables be extended almost out into the street? There's nowhere to walk. And then you have the carts in the street. It's unacceptable. It's unacceptable. Then I heard today, there's a restaurant next to Capital One Bank. This person put in a complaint with 311. 3 years ago, nothing was done. They saw in the driveway a PVC pipe coming from that restaurant and waste being dumped in the street. It's become a free-for-all here. If you could give out $5,000 tickets for DUIs, you can give out tickets for hygiene, because you know what? That kills people also.
So Conchetta, we'll take it up during the board meeting. So thank you for putting it in a record again. And we'll try to address it.
I hope so, because you know what, Mr. Guarinello,
it's okay.
I wrote a letter yesterday to Edward Grayson,
gotcha,
for the day before, and all his other team players,
we're
well
as get up during the board meeting. Okay.
Well, there's got to be something. When is the board meeting?
Right after this, right after everybody's done with the public.
Oh, okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Just one moment. And we have John Riccatone. If you would just unmute yourself.
Good afternoon, Marnie. My condolences to you and your family.
Thank you.
So I have a question in regards to the district attorney. I understand she said about the gun buyback program. But when somebody is arrested for having gun possession, they get out the next day. So there seems to be a problem with the crime that's going on, and they're not doing anything about this. They're giving money for a gun buyback program, but people that possess a gun, they don't do no time.
Good point, and we'll cover it with a letter to.
Thank you so much, sir.
She's still on the phone, so I'm sure she'll take it back.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else, Marnie?
One moment. We have lots of attendees. I'm going to try Agnes Wong one more time, who has a hand raised. Agnes, if you can just unmute yourself.
She's having difficulty.
Okay, I just wanted to give another shot. Cindy Liang, if you just unmute yourself.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, I have some concerns besides the homeless situation. This is in regard to illegal dumping. So I made a call to 311 about 2 weeks ago. I made a complaint, and this is by the illegal dumpings by Bay 23rd and Bath Avenue, the park, the Benson, no, the playground by PS 200. And I don't know who it is, but it's just probably the same group of people. They would come out at midnight and they would dump furnitures, barbecue grill, strollers, TV unit sets, TV, you know, in the morning when I walk that way to go to work, to go to the subway, and I see this disgusting crap. Besides that area over there, I also see it on the sidewalk parallel to where it's dumped. I've seen mattresses. I mean, I made a complaint to them and telling them that people need to actually do an investigation because they're doing it all over again. It's disgusting. They just renovated that park recently. And when I said recently, it's actually, you know, it's like years ago, but it's still pretty recent. My daughter goes to that school, okay, and they would like to play in a clean park. Why are these people so disgusting?
They have investigative units that would do that. So Marnie is actually going to get to the commissioner, sanitation commissioner, put a sting there. So you maybe not have gotten any response, but we certainly will. And I'm sure Councilman Traeger will help us with that. It's a city issue.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay, great. And also have one more issue.
Sure.
And this is like near the Bensonhurst Park. Do you know, like when the car, they line up when they go to the Bell Parkway West?
Yep.
It's like when I've seen so many cars making dangerous, illegal turns. When it says walk for the pedestrian to walk, we have the right of way. We have elderlies, we have children, we have babies and strollers. But meanwhile, we have these drivers couldn't wait, right? They can't do the right thing. And they just do a U-turn illegally and cuts in front of us while we have the right of way and go to the Belt Parkway West towards Manhattan.
Cindy, we've been trying to address that issue, and we're continually addressing that issue. Marnie, this is one of Marnie's bugaboos that she stays on top of. So, you know, dealing with the city on anything in this administration has been extremely tough. So we haven't given up, and we're on your page totally. We've been on this for like a year and a half, that it's a very dangerous area.
It's so dangerous. They need to put some kind of barrier, and it's not, when they're going to do something when someone gets killed, when a child gets killed.
People have been killed there, so
yeah.
we will discuss.
We
that.
just We just met with DOT, with Councilman Traeger and Councilman Brannon for an on-site down there, and we're awaiting the follow-up from DOT to the issues that we showed them firsthand. So we are aware.
Stay tuned to a future meeting.
Yes.
Okay.
Anybody else, Morning? Thank you,
Okay,
Cindy.
thank you. Thank you.
Frank Fontana from the Department of Buildings. Just unmute yourself, Frank.
Hi, Marnie. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi. Hello, everyone. I just want to mention a couple things in regards to the homeless shelter. I know, yourself, William, you're pretty abreast of the zoning laws. But as things do begin to unfold, and at some point in the future, I'm here to answer any questions. I know we've been working very closely, so I'll be available to answer any questions or concerns that that may arise. As things unfold and project moves along. So, and secondly, in regards to job updates on our website, there's a link that once a job is filed, you can sign up and put in a job number with your email address, and then you would get an update every time a job there's some kind of an update to a job application. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that. We are working on some information on outdoor training. So when that information is available, I'll share it to the the community board and the public. And then just quickly mention is local law 152, and I have as a reminder, starting in 2022, which you still have some time. If you haven't heard about it yet, it has started in some other community boards where now buildings above 2-family are required to get a periodic gas inspection. So plumbers hired to check the any common gas lines around the building and report that inspection to Department of Buildings. So the filing period for Community Board 11 doesn't start until next year, but I just want to keep everyone reminded, abreast, and I'll just continue to mention it. So this way, no one's kind of caught off surprise next year when those reports begin to have submitted to the department. And I'll put some information in the chat as well. That's it. Thank
you. Just one moment. Tambe, if you would just unmute yourself.
Can you hear me?
Yep. We can hear you.
Yes. Hello. How you doing? Good evening. I'm Tambi John from the New York Library in Brooklyn, and just wanted to mention a couple of things. Just to let you know that all the libraries in Brooklyn are currently open for limited customer service. Basically, that means you can return your materials and pick up holes. There's no access to computers at this time. There's no access to the bathrooms, and there's no access to full service. But you can return your materials. There are no fines. There's a lot of questions about that. There are no fines. You do have a due date, but there are no fines at this time. We are not billing anyone or charging anyone anything. So if for some reason anybody gets a notice at home, please call the library, come to a branch. We will clarify. No one is being fined at this time. So that's one thing. And also the New York Library, starting on February the 22nd, we're gonna have print on demand service, which means that if you need to print, you can send it to Print Anywhere at brooklynlibrary.org. And you could come to the New York location and pick them up. So they're only, unfortunately at this time, there are only 9 branches that are doing it, including Central at this time. We're hoping to expand that throughout the entire system. But as I said, if you need to print, make photocopies, that has been a big request. At our location, located at 1743 86th Street in our community, you can come and pick up your prints. You can use your cell phone, your smartphone, your tablet, your iPad, anywhere that we can get access to Print Anywhere at brooklynlibrary.org. I want to thank you very much. And thank you, Mark, for answering us in regards to the new library card. Yeah. We are happy to hear that's going to come out in June. And I'm very, very happy to hear that Community Board 11 is in there. Yes.
Marty's going to talk about it.
Well, Bill's going to talk about it. But
I'm going to talk about it.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much. And Marnie, my deepest condolences on losing your loved one.
Thank
Nothing
you so
worse
much.
than losing a parent. So
thank you.
Anybody else, Marnie?
One.
Annette Olivo. Yes.
Yep, got you.
Hi, good evening, everyone. And Marnie, my condolences also.
Thank you.
I've been a resident in this area for over 22 years. I live on 14th Avenue in Bath, across from the golf course. I have seen a lot of changes in this area. And I'm not going to bring up the shelter because you did a fine job of talking about everything. Everyone will check and make sure that it doesn't happen here. But down on Bay 8th Street, they have it was from the summer to the winter, all these people there barbecuing, excess garbage, no parking, double parking. That's a very dangerous double parking by that park because it has that turn when you come from the VA hospital. They even did it with COVID. 200 people setting up a movie theater. We call the police. They do nothing. I call the police all the time I'm on the corner of 229 when they would double park when school was active, double, triple park. One is safety is first in the area. Two is, if you notice throughout the years, this area is not safe anymore. I wouldn't go out past 7 o'clock at night. I think there needs to be more police patrol in our area. I know that there's a meeting at the precinct soon, but I know the police, their hands are tied due to circumstances of the mayor, but the area doesn't feel safe anymore. We all love living here. We don't want to move and go to Staten Island. We want to stay here and have our area bright and shiny again. It's lacking a lot of things. I don't go shopping in any of the stores here. I wouldn't go to 86th Street like Conchetta is saying. It looks disgusting. So here we're just concerned.
We're all concerned with you, and we've seen that. And the unfortunate part about it, Dyker Park's in Board 10. So we always have to work.
Okay.
We have to work with them on it, which we do.
Even though we live on the other side of the street?
Yeah, we live on the other side of the tracks in that.
We work very well with them, and we'll reach out to them to discuss some of the concerns.
Yeah, and I just feel, if a little more safety in the area, not for me, but the older people walking around.
I agree. All right, thanks, Annette.
Okay, bye, be well.
Bye now.
That's it.
Okay, so I'm going to take a motion to close the public portion of the meeting. Here we go. Sal, seconded by Jeffrey. All in favor? Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
I have a motion to adopt the minutes of January 14th. Ross, seconded by John Garvey. All in favor? Any opposed?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Okay. So we started out, and you saw during the public portion of the meeting, there were many, many people here that talking about the shelter. For the board's, not to keep reiterating, but for the board's knowledge, okay, it was sprung on us. We don't have any input. They're trying to put this in as of right. Right away, the elected officials, Marnie got to everybody. We put ourselves together. We wanted a meeting with DHS and the ICL, the not-for-profit. And there were many great questions asked all around. And unfortunately, so far we're stonewalled. We're getting nothing back. So I'm going to actually turn this part of it over because I talked about all the things that are wrong with this site. Certainly, listen, if it came before us officially, we'd never pass. But you got to remember, you're dealing with an administration that just does what they want, okay? And so we as a community, we're a little sleepy. It's like let the sleeping dogs lie. Well, now you woke us up. So I'm going to ask Assemblyman Colton and then Councilman Trega to weigh in on this again, because they were very apt at leading the charge here. So Assemblyman, you can go first, and then Mark can pick right up when Bill's done. Got to unmute.
Okay.
Good.
First of all, Monty, I want to extend my sincere condolences to you in your loss.
Thank you.
I also want to thank Board 11 because you have done everything that you need to do in order to, represent the community. As soon as you got that letter, you got it out. And, and I've been also working with many people, many different groups. There have been groups that have already been formed. I'm meeting with other groups coming up in the coming days, and we are going to get the community's voice out there very clearly. We are not against helping homeless people. That's not what this issue is about. This is the wrong location, and this is the wrong type of help for homeless people because it doesn't help them. In fact, it exposes them to a lot of dangers and a lot of risks. The rate of mortality and infection in terms of COVID in these types of homes is very, very high, much higher than in any other type of situation. And in fact, some of these had to actually be evacuated during the height of the COVID, and we're still in the height, and people had to be transferred to hotels because of the number of people who were getting COVID. So we're going to be looking into many different angles. The zoning is one important angle that we're going to be looking at. We're also going to be following the money because these homes and this kind of development, the city is spending a lot of money on it and it's not helping homeless people. It's almost like a business, and it is a business, a big money-making business in many of the instances. And there's been scandals in various parts of the city, and we are going to, organize the community, and we're listening to them, we're checking into it, and we're going to continue doing so. And we're going to demand that before any kind of a home like this is put into the community, we need to know specifically what services are being offered. This is the wrong location. This is the wrong type of approach. But whatever is done by the city, they have to assure us as to what kind of services are going to be provided and who they're providing it to. This particular home has 2 to 3 people per room. There's no kitchen. There's shared bathrooms. People don't have individual bathrooms. There's shared dining room. And in a COVID situation, it is an absolutely unthinkable plan by the city.
Maybe you want to weigh in here.
These things will come up and we'll deal with them. And we are definitely, anyone who has any ideas, suggestions, calls, you're free to call my office. We'll take the information down. We check it out. And we are going to be, having some meetings and some informational material going out as we begin to, work with the different groups. Over 7,000 petition signatures have been collected already by the groups that have formed. We're going to be participating, and we are participating in some additional petitions, and there's going to be some more activities. We will keep people informed as the community, and I must commend the community for mobilizing. We don't want, negative attacks. We don't want, people, just attacking homeless in general, or, because that's not against homeless people, but it is against doing things that do not help homeless people and definitely do not help the community. And that's the message we're getting out there. We're against money-making businesses that use to take advantage of the community. I also want to just very briefly talk about the budget, some budget ideas. We're coming to the point that the state budget is going to be coming up in April 1st. And I have some good news for the community. At this point, it looks very likely that the state, New York, is going to be getting a large amount of money from this new stimulus package, which I believe is going to be passed in the next week or so. We're talking possibly about $50 billion, which might become available to the state. And we're talking about possibly $10 billion to education. That is good news, but it also is something that we have to, there's also some not so good news in it, and that we have to make sure that that money is used properly to educate our children and to do the things that are needed. We have to make sure that those monies are not wasted. I want to see this as an opportunity where parents and community people can demand that the $4.5 billion that is owed our schools, such as in New York City, is repaid under the CFE. That money has never been repaid. Now the $10 billion will allow us to repay it this year. And then we can move on to finding other ways of dealing with the needs of children. I also, want to make clear that this has to happen, but it has to happen and will happen only if parents speak up. And I spoke to the CEC 20 meeting last night, and this is an opportunity for parents where we really can resolve the CFE issue where these monies were owed to districts like New York City and get the kind of programs that meet the needs of children. Programs, remedial programs, programs for special education, gifted programs, and programs for English language learners. All of that can be done with these monies because we're going to have, I believe, these monies very shortly, as soon as that stimulus package passes, and it's looking very good right now.
So Bill, what I want you to do, I want you to tell our friend the governor, stop cutting everybody's programs. If he gets that money, all those cuts should be off. So that's your job and Peter's job to go up there and let him know and tell Heatsy, none of this BS that I'm looking for, save for a rainy day. He got his rainy day money, help the not-for-profits out.
I'm going to carry that message very clearly. Good. And it also may mean that we may have to do some things in terms of progressive tax structure. We may have to raise taxes, not on the middle income, not on the low income, but there are people who are making $5 million a year and more. And we may need to, because this particular federal money is going to be a one-time thing, a one-shot. So we're going to have to make sure that not only do we find good uses, stop the cuts, implement good programs for this money that we get, not waste it, use it wisely, and we're also going to have to develop a progressive tax structure that takes the burden off the middle income, takes the burden off low income, takes the burden off small businesses, and more in a more fair, balanced way, puts it on, those who are earning more than $5 million.
I'm going to let Mark Traeger come in here because he's been waiting.
By the way, just want to say for everybody, a very happy new year. This is the year of the ox. Right. Hopefully, again, on January 1st, we look forward to a better year than the past year. Good riddance to 2020. Well, we look forward to a much better and happy new year of the ox. And
wonderful.
Everyone, please
Thank
enjoy.
You. Mark, you're on the air.
Thank you very much, Bill. Also want to extend my condolences to Marnie. And I want to say that even as she's going through her grieving period, she remains incredibly accessible and responsive. So Marnie, you are truly an incredible inspiration and source of strength for many. Thank you for your service to our community. I want to certainly appreciate the words of Bill Colton, who many of you know is a former teacher. So he always centers and prioritizes education. So thank you, Bill, for your tremendous fight in Albany for our schools. I want to first also share that I introduced legislation today in the City Council requiring Mr. Progressive Mayor to actually center homebound seniors in the vaccine distribution plan. The fact that we have seniors who are immobile, who cannot leave their homes and apartments, some people haven't left over a year. The fact that they were not centered in the distribution plan for the vaccine is shameful. And this is coming from a progressive administration that speaks about fairness and equity. So I introduced a bill today in the City Council that would require the City of New York to create a plan to reach homebound seniors and help them get vaccination. And after I announced the bill, did the mayor share remarks at a press conference that within the next couple of weeks, he'll announce something about homebound seniors. So sometimes you just have to keep pushing and keep fighting. And I learned that from Bill as well. Just keep pushing, keep fighting. I want to also speak about this shelter situation. First of all, the mayor's plan as far as equity, as many of you watched, or those of you who didn't watch the original CB11 sort of briefing, because it wasn't officially a meeting, because as Bill mentioned, nothing was put before us. We're a community that already does our share, more than our share, of serving high needs populations in this community. Nearby the site is King's Adult Care. Nearby the site, we have Heinz Solomon, King David, and I know, speaking to staff who work there, that a number of people who are certainly in high need populations, if they were to leave the facility, they would have nowhere to go. We have folks who are very high need, folks facing social, emotional issues and challenges. I have read the reports and received the reports of the 6-2 precinct having to respond to people going through emotional crisis, or what's called EDPs, people who have fallen down the ground, who are going through episodes. And I want to say that the people who have reached out to me to complain about these issues, they don't say to me, Traeger, shut this place down. They say, Traeger, why aren't the people being helped and served? So I want to first just say that this is a compassionate, empathetic neighborhood made up of people that certainly are shouldering their fair share in helping our neighbors during their time of need. I want to begin by saying that, and I shared that at that meeting. Number two, there is a real issue on the zoning, and I stand by CB11 because the city administration has their own interpretation of the zoning rules. I believe Bill Gornell is right. I believe that they will require some sort of special permission from the board. And I want to associate my remarks with the board and Bill Colton that we are unequivocally opposed to any special permit, any conditions that might have to come before CB11. And quite frankly, this is a matter that might end up in court, and very likely end up in court. I also want to say that at the meeting that we had, the briefing that we had, Bill, if you remember, and Marnie, I had asked about the number of social workers, the number of support staff. They couldn't even answer me on if they can commit to one full-time social worker. And this speaks to the social service infrastructure of the area. We already serve a high needs population. There is inadequate social service infrastructure in this neighborhood, and quite frankly, in this, even in this facility. And mind you, since that meeting, news broke in the New York Times that a Bronx homeless service operator who is now under criminal investigation, it was not just a scathing indictment against the operator, but it was a scathing indictment against the city administration, particularly the Department of Homeless Services, that received complaints for years about residents not getting help and no follow-up, and people that were hurt, permanently hurt for the rest of their lives. So that speaks to the fact that they have been lax. They have not done their job. They are in no position, let me repeat, this administration is in no position to lecture anyone about empathy, compassion, equity, and fairness when they have already failed the very people that they are supposed to serve. So number one, I believe we have a zoning issue, which I stand with the board on, and we're going to fight like hell on. Number two, they are a failure in meeting the needs of their own residents, quite frankly. Number three, there's, as we mentioned, inadequate social service infrastructure. And I have also reached out to City Hall saying this community was never consulted. As Marnie and Bill mentioned, they just got a letter. That's all they got. They just got a letter. That is unacceptable. And I have reached out to the city administration seeking that consultation courtesy that they never afforded this community to begin with, and to work with CB11 on making a better decision, not at this location. Certainly there is a need for families and children, but there, as Marnie and Bill talked about before, the data does not speak or validate to an all-men shelter either. Correct. So this fight is only still getting started. As I echo Bill Colton, Keep sending those petitions in, keep speaking up. I will tell you that there are attorneys looking at this, there are people looking at this, and we're going to fight like hell for not just the neighborhood, but for the people that we're all supposed to serve, because we are in it for everyone. But those people are not going to be served by this administration. They're not going to be served. They have been failed by this administration. And I thank you for your time, Bill, and Marnie leadership. I'm with you to the end. Appreciate you all.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we've, we beat the dead horse because we're not going to take it. I mean, you know that movie Network, we've had it and we stick our head out the window. We're just not going to take it. We just can't dump stuff on this community, and we're just going to say, okay, great, dump it on us. So we're all in sync on this, and as soon as we get information, we'll give it out. I mean, this city is tough on giving information out, so we'll continue to try. So to move on to some lighter things, we did have some speakers during the public portion, and Marnie will handle those issues with sanitation, etc. That we had. You have it on record, and they'll go to those committees, and those committees will take it to the appropriate departments in the city to see what we could do, see how we could advocate. Don't forget, we don't have that much power. We just have that we're speaking for all of the community, especially in this administration. This coming summer, you heard a little bit about it, Public Library will release a limited edition library card celebrating Black culture and history in Brooklyn and in America, in partnership with the Brooklyn Borough President, Eric Adams, and Brooklyn Community Boards. The card will be released as part of the Brooklyn Public Library's Juneteenth 2021 celebrations. The first year this holiday will be recognized as a city, state, and a public school holiday. So we're happy to do that. We're going to be participating in that endeavor. The mayor released his preliminary budget for 2022, and we'll keep you posted. And Mark and Justin will keep us posted on how this progresses as we have meetings. And I wish everybody a happy and healthy new year. And I'll turn it over to Marnie if she has any district manager stuff, and then we'll open it up to old and new business.
Thank you, Bill. I just want to thank everybody for your messages of condolences, the phone calls, the text messages. I really appreciate it, and it meant a lot to me and my family. I just want to give a quick report and a garbage collection update. The Department of Sanitation will be working tomorrow on Lincoln's birthday, which has historically been observed as a holiday. Residents who are scheduled tomorrow should just follow their normal routine and put it out tonight or tomorrow morning. I am not really sure about Monday's collection for President's Day. It seems to be changing quickly. So we'll post it on our website or Facebook and get the messaging out there, whether you will have collections. The Department of City Planning announced that they have partnered with the MTA, New York City Council, and the Mayor's Office of People with Disabilities to identify zoning as one policy tool that could help accelerate accessibility throughout the transit system. The proposal, called Zoning for Transit Accessibility, will allow the MTA to work more efficiently with private developers to help achieve system-wide accessibility. And this citywide text amendment is expected to undergo public review in the spring. So I'm just putting it on the radar there. We have been very lucky in Board 11, thanks to our elected officials in advocating and bringing home the bacon to get elevators along our elevated structure. I know we have lots of senior citizens and families with children, and it makes it very difficult to gain access to that. So this could be exciting to see additional barriers removed for accessibility. And of course, we will be bringing that back and having committee meetings once the application is certified, and we'll gather input in a public hearing. And I just want to add a stat that today, fewer than 30% of MTA stations are ADA accessible. So there's a lot more work to be done. And hopefully this will help that. For families with children, high school children who are sophomores, YouthBridge New York announced today that applications are now open to apply for their 2-year fellowship beginning August of 2021. Applicants must be a high school sophomore and be willing to learn and share new perspectives. For more info to apply, please visit www.youthbridgenewyork.org. They are a nonprofit leadership development organization that trains and prepares our young people to meet the challenges of an extremely diverse New York City. And they will have an opportunity to work, if selected, with leaders throughout the city and to gain some insight. So it's a great opportunity. If anybody would like the direct link, if you didn't have a pen, I'd be happy to send it out, and we will post that. I just want to briefly, I know we're going to have further discussions with regarding the issues on 86th Street. And I know it's historic up there. It's been a problem between Bay Parkway and 23rd Avenue. And I just want to acknowledge the work and the funding that Councilman Traeger has brought in to address some of that. This past year, through the pandemic, has been probably the worst that we have ever seen, because different agencies were working during the pandemic on different issues. For example, the Department of Sanitation, not only were they impacted by their employees who were out sick, but they sent resources to help feed our residents and other programs that were being ongoing and still ongoing today. The good news is for us that some of the enforcement mechanisms have been moved around. So now we have the Department of Consumer Affairs that will be investigating and enforcing some of the issues up there. And the tickets are more than the price of doing business. It's not a $100 fine for blocking a sidewalk. Historically, the Department of Consumer Affairs, their fines go up into the thousands. So we have complaints and investigations ongoing at those locations. And a matter of fact, today I just got an email that they were out there and they'll be giving me a written report, and I will share that next month with the board and the committee. That's all I have, Bill.
Great. I'm gonna, while Marnie was speaking, I thought maybe, the way DHS preempted us a bit by not putting us in the loop as a community, maybe we should throw a shot back over the bow. So maybe we should have a resolution from the board that would go to Department of Homeless Services that said, we want to redo. This is not the right site. We want to redo. Go look for a better site. So can I get a motion to do that? Hi, Ross and John. Is there anybody opposed? All right, Marnie, put your best penmanship together. Put the elected officials in the CC column and put that resolution out there. Might as well put a missive out there to them. So give it a shot. Okay, is there any old business? Is there any new business?
New business, Bill. Sonia.
Oh, yep, Sonia.
Hi. Marnie, I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
Okay, the precinct will be having their virtual Zoom meeting this coming Tuesday at 7:30, February the 16th. So if you want to join and you don't know how to get on, I'm going to put the link into the chat room, but I'll give it to you verbally because the meeting's coming to a close, I believe. It's PCT62NDCC@AOL.com. That's this coming Tuesday. And this Saturday, the precinct is having the NCO Build a Block meeting at St. Athanasius at 12:30. And if they plan to have a Zoom meeting, also send your request to be put on the list. I'll put it in the chat right now. Also, one last thing. We all know that Tommaso's has passed and they are reopening the restaurant again the family has decided to reopen. So they'll be open on Saturday, February the 13th at 12 o'clock for indoor eating or takeout. That's it.
Oh, thanks. Okay, anybody else? Yeah,
Hey,
okay,
Bill, I
Lori.
have something.
Lori. Well, John, we'll let Lori go, then we'll let you go, John.
Okay, as chair of the Transportation Committee, I felt that this should be brought up to the board. There have been numerous complaints regarding the 90-degree parallel parking on Bath Avenue between Bay 22nd and Bay 23rd Streets. That's the block of the Moss and the Park. First off, this is an ADA issue, as the cars are blocking the sidewalks and you can't pass with whether it's a wheelchair or a carriage or just people walking. Also, in addition, a few years ago, we had a meeting with Department of Transportation, with the electeds and the 6-2 there. And that idea was floated out about doing the 90-degree parking. And DOT said, no, that the street was not wide enough. So I'm here to ask the board to take a position on this, and the position being that this is not acceptable and it must stop immediately.
Gotcha. No, I hear you. What about anybody else want to address it? Have seen it? Is the captain on the line, by the way?
Bill, I'd like to add to what Lori said. It's also the park. And backing in, there's always a chance of not seeing the little ones running. So it's very dangerous in that area to have back-in parking onto the sidewalk.
Does the captain want to address this? If he's on?
Hi, Monty. Hi, Bill. How you doing? First of all, Monty, same thing. I want to, express my deeply condolences, for your loss.
Thank you.
And then also, I want to wish everyone a happy New Year. It's tomorrow, the year of the ox, and I hope everyone have a healthy and a prosperous year of the ox. So, I want to address, thank Bill, you did brought up that that issue of the parking. So first of all, I want to tell you why did we come to this? Because in the past, I guess there was always like double parking in the bike lane on Bath Avenue, right? And that was a big issue with and it's a big safety issue also. So I decided, we had to, we can't double park there anymore. And it's not good, the police department's there double parking there, and then that doesn't look good for the community. And, so that was one reason, I decided no more double parking on Bath Avenue in front of the precinct, and, extended to, Bay 23rd Street. But then, there was an issue with the mosque, because every Friday with the prayers, so they always have, double parking there. And that's why I have reached out to the mosque and, reached out to them, and I spoke to them, and I brought up the idea that we would do, angle parking, so that way we're not blocking the bike lane. And we also we're trying to make sure that we leave enough room, for the wheelchair or the stroller to be able to get past. And I understand it's not, this is, you got to understand, this is not a permanent, solution. As I have said before, this is only temporary until we find a better solution for the parking. And also on Bath Avenue, between Bay 23rd and Bay 22nd, those are angle parking. It's not just for police RMPs. It's also, the communities have been using it also. So like I said, until we find a better solution on how to park, right now we are aware of the risk, if when backing up, there might be running back into the pedestrians that's walking past. So we put traffic cones there, try to make enough room between the cars and the sidewalk. So there's in front of the park, there's like a pebble stone, and then we try to make sure there's like 1 square block of concrete between the pebble stone and the cars.
Okay, thanks, Kat. Lori, anything else you want to add as the chair? Oh, and John, were you going to talk about something else?
Just
I had one,
that was it on that. Just basically that I know he's new here, the captain, but this is an old issue for us for at least 3 years with the parking situation.
So is there anything you want to suggest?
I was asking for the board if they wanted to take a position on this in terms of this not being acceptable, and it needs to immediately stop.
Anybody want to second that? Anybody want to second that motion? I can't see.
Seconded.
Okay, Andrew, is there any further discussion on this? Hearing none, I'd like to call the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Any opposed? Okay, carries unanimously. So,
Yep.
Marty, you'll work with Lori and I guess get to the people. I guess it has to go to the.
I don't know. Yep. Mr. Chairman.
Yes, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, very fast. I just took my vaccine dose. I feel pretty good.
Finish this first, Tim.
Huh?
Doc, we want to finish this first, then I'll call on you. John's first, then I'll call on you. I won't forget you.
Thanks, Bill. Bill, I just have
Marty,
one thing.
I just want to finish this up, John. And then
I'm an avid runner.
New, right?
It's new, yeah.
Yeah, no, let me just finish this with Marty. So you'll work with Lori and get it to the people that we have to get it to. Okay? All right, now, John, you're good.
All right, thanks. Yeah, you guys all know I'm an avid runner. I'm puzzled. I know Coney Island is not in our jurisdiction. How do they not plow 2.5 miles of the boardwalk?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just bought a place in Belmar. They clean it every day. 2.5. If I didn't shovel the front of my house, I'm pretty sure the mayor would be at my house with the sanitation department giving me a summons. 2.5 miles. The snow is about 1 foot deep on the boardwalk. I have to run in the sand. Really not fair. I got to be honest. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, a lot of things don't make sense, John.
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah.
Certainly, it's not in our community board, so we can't.
I know, but you know what? But I'll say this much: in our community board along the water, that's plowed.
Yep, that's because that's DOT, not parks.
Yeah, it's terrible.
All right. Tim Law, you're on. Dr. Law, you're in.
Okay, you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just took my first dose a few days ago because a lot of misunderstanding, a lot of misinformation. I'm not a senior in our neighborhood. They don't want to take the vaccine. So is it possible in the future you ask the doctor, expert for the next meeting, explain the side effect? That's not no big deal. Tell them to take the vaccine. Is it possible to do that for the next meeting?
Well, yeah, we can have somebody talk, but let's put it this way, Doc.
Yeah.
You went for your first one.
Yeah.
I was at my second one today. I'm here. I'm alive. I have a very little pain in the arm that I took it. So if you touch it, it hurts a little bit. The rest of it, I'm here. I didn't die. I didn't have a seizure. I didn't have
I feel pretty good. I could do practice Tai Chi in the morning.
That's right. I could do the Tai Chi too. I can lift my hand. Anyway.
Thank you.
Yes. We will.
So as the doctor expert, okay? As the doctor expert for the next meeting.
You got it. Okay. Anybody else? Hearing none?
I just had a question.
Go, Ross. Go.
Yeah, just a question, and I try to put it in the chat for Marnie. The hotel text amendment that we discussed and that the committee had a meeting on and came out and support of, is that proper for this meeting or for tabling?
No. So that was just comments in the draft scope. The text amendment didn't come forward yet. You have a lot more work to do when it's released for public input.
Very preliminary.
They have not certified it as of yet, Ross. So we will get that.
So we'll make our recommendations
when they release it. Yeah, it was just comments. Thank you for the work that the committee did.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anybody else on the board? Hearing none. Have a happy New Year to all my friends that celebrate. We can't have the fireworks or gather together. And I used to love going to Lum Chin. It was a restaurant that I used to go for Chinese food. But it's no longer there, so I have to come to 8th Avenue one year. Anyway, God bless everybody. See you next month.
Support your local Chinese restaurants and restaurants.